Have the lines become blurred? Is it okay to mix the principles of Islam with those of the Mormons? Join Sunnah Followers May 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as Dr. Daniel McBride addresses Muslims living the principle. Hold close to him and follow what he said.
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnah Followers presents a new and exciting course to add to your Islamic learning and development. Interpretation in Living with the Quran, taught by Sheikh Saad Hassanin, considered to be one of the most accomplished scholars of Quranic science in the United States. He is a member of AMJA, the Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America. He holds a PhD in Islamic Studies, professor at IUM. His specialty is in 10 different styles of Quranic recitation and jurisprudence. Classes will be held every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, streaming right here on Sunnah Followers.
Open your eyes and look around. Open your eyes. You see the very things that you read about coming true. Don't you realize the moments are near? Correct yourself in your affairs. He has made it crystal clear. These are the signs of the time.
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnah Followers, new class. Stay tuned.
Signs of the times.
Okay, I apologize for that. I had to try to set everything up here. Okay, Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulallah. I want to welcome everybody to our series entitled The Signs of the Last Hour. The Signs of the Last Hour. And this is a very provocative series because something that I've been saying for quite some time is that all of the minor signs of the last hour have already come to play. Okay, all the minor signs have already occurred or they're already happening. And with the next sign that we are waiting on right now in 2024, the next sign that has not yet occurred, that is scheduled to occur whenever Allah decreed it to be, will be the war against Islam. And already, that is already beginning. As we can see in the year 2024, we can see how the Muslims in Africa are being persecuted, and genocide is attempted against them by the Zionists. And not only Africa, but of course, the world is all focused on Gaza. But I'm going to remind you of what's been going on and still happening in Africa, because the Zionists want to keep the world's attention on Gaza That's why they continue to do what they've been doing for decades in Africa, because there's more Muslims in Africa, believe it or not, than there are in the Middle East. Most of those countries in Africa are Islamic countries. Okay. And also Africa has the other resources that the world needs. The world needs that oil. What does the Middle East offer? The Gulf area offer that oil. Okay, the Middle East offers that oil. But Africa offers all the minerals, the gas, the minerals that the world needs. So, the Zionists know exactly what they're doing. Their thing is to keep the attention on Gaza while they continue to try to debilitate the Muslims in Africa like they've been doing, because one of the signs of the last hour is that we will revert back to racism and we'll revert back to tribalism. And the Zionists know that Muslims are just as racist today as the Zionists are. The Muslims are just as racist as against each other as the Zionists are. Muslims don't care. It's all about color. The darker your color, Muslims could care less about you too in general. And that's a reality. Okay, so I want to let everybody know that, all of those minor signs are here. The next sign that is evolving, it's evolving now, is the war against Islam. And what I want to do, guys, is today we're going to speak about, the last time we met, we talked about the wars that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam presented to the companions, because the companions were small in number and they could not believe that they would in one day end up reaching millions. And they also could not perceive being victorious and spreading Islam from out of Arabia. So the Prophet spoke about how we would defeat the Romans, we would defeat the Persians, we would defeat Islam, would spread all across the world, which it has done. Okay. And also the Turks, we talked about that, the Tartars, we talked about all that. Well, one of the things I spoke about the last time we met for this class were the tribulations. And that's what we're going to go into today. The tribulations, the different trials, the different calamities that will befall this nation that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned about. And one of the tribulations that has already befallen this nation, like I told you guys, are the false antichrist. Well, we're going to come upon that hadith today, the false antichrist. How the Prophet said there will emerge many people who will pretend to be calling you to the truth, but instead falsehood. So let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. I hope you guys have me on the big screen TV. And also, I hope you're using your cell phone to screenshot the PowerPoint slides I'm getting ready to present to you. And again, everything that I am presenting to you, all of these hadiths are authentic. And the sources of all of these hadiths are Bukhari and Muslim. I only deal with what you can't come and bite me with. What does that mean? That means I cover my behind. Okay. I know that we're living in the days of the false antichrist. And I know we have a lot of Mu'tazila. Most of the Muslims of the world are of the Mu'tazila branch. And so I'm not going to give you a reason to come and try to call me out, so I'm dealing with the hadiths that only an idiot would dare to challenge. And we do have a lot of idiots out there, but you'll just make yourself look like an idiot. You won't make me look like one. So let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. All these hadiths are from Bukhari and Muslim. And let me, first of all, start off by sharing to the people here on my Zoom room. And by the way, one of the brothers is typing, how can he join the Zoom room? You want to join my Zoom room? Be careful, because you come in my Zoom room, jump and crump, you will get crumped out. But you can go to www.sunnahfollowers.net and just click on the tab that says join Zoom room. And I want to make sure, I hope I got moderators who are moderated up and in there, who are not going to put up with no crap. Okay. So, but that's how you join the Zoom room. Okay. Yeah. www.sunnahfollowers.net. Okay. All right. Okay. And for the rest of you here, let me share my screen. Here we go. I'm going to share it with you guys so you guys can see the PowerPoint too. All right. Inshallah. Yeah. Okay. And let me make it larger, the full screen for you. Okay. Today we're going to go over those hadiths that I spoke about in some of the shorts that you see of mine that are floating around on the internet. The emergence of the imposters who will claim to be prophets. The emergence of the false antichrist that will profess to be prophets. We're going to speak about those hadiths today. And also tonight, I'm going to cover some of the trials and some of the tribulations that the prophet said we would encounter, which we have already encountered or are encountering as I speak. And you will be shocked to see that many of these things are happening right now. But the good thing about it is the fact that if you truly believe in Allah, if you truly believe in the qadr of Allah, and that's the problem. The problem with Muslims today in 2024, the majority of the Muslims today do not believe in the qadr of Allah, which the prophet said is one of the signs of the last hour too. My nation will have its fire worshipers. The fire worshipers, which means the unbelievers of my nation, are those who will not believe in the decree of Allah. And that's what's happening today. A lot of us don't believe that Allah is the creator of good and evil. A lot of us don't believe that Allah is in control of what happens, not man. So because of that, we're going to talk about those hadiths where the prophet predicted it. But for those of you who do believe in Allah, after tonight's class, inshallah, you should feel a calmness within your heart. You should be able to look at what's happening in the world today and take comfort in knowing that our oppressors and enemies will never succeed, that this nation will never be genocided, and you will be able to do what the prophet said to do during these times, which is do a lot of self-reflection and change the condition of yourself. So let's take a look at the hadiths for tonight's discussion. And we start off with the emergence of the false antichrist. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in many authentic hadiths that there would emerge imposters amongst this nation, who will profess to be prophets. He said that they would number 30 in number. And then in some hadiths, he said 29. And this will be people who not only claim to be prophets, but they will stir up trouble. They will create fitna, which means trials and tribulations for us. They will be able to speak well, and they will influence the people of this nation to follow them. And they will make these people think that they're leading them to paradise, when in reality they're leading them to hell. These are the ruwaybida that we see amongst us today. These are these internet Muslim speakers who many of you think are scholars, who many of you follow blindly. You take what they say, over what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Subhanallah. You allow them to change the religion. You only believe what they say is lawful. What they say is haram, you believe it over Allah or over the Prophet. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And this, you can find this hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. He said the last hour will not come until nearly 30 liars have been sent, each of whom will claim to be a messenger of Allah. How many of these brothers and sisters today claim to be messengers of Allah? They claim to be da'iyah. They claim to be calling you to the truth, calling you to Islam. But in reality, they're calling you to some watered down way of life. In another hadith, the Prophet said there will appear 30 antichrists amongst my nation. These are not kafirs. These are people that claim to be Muslim. They will claim to be a prophet, but I am the seal of the prophets, and there are no prophets after me. And we're going to talk about this. There were many of this nation who already come and claim to be prophets, and we're going to talk about it. Also, in another authentic hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, among my nation will be liars, and 27 antichrists, including 4 women. But I am the seal of the prophets. There will be none after me. Now let's talk about it. Has this already happened? Oh, yes. A large number of these liars have already appeared, including the women. For example, during the time of the companions, we talked about Musaylama. He was one of the men that not claimed to be a messenger. He claimed to be a prophet. He claimed to be sent by Allah himself. Remember the term messenger. A messenger is a person that conveys a messenger. A prophet is someone that claims to have been divinely inspired by Allah. Musaylama claimed to be a prophet of Allah. Not only did we have Musaylama, but we talked about Al-Aswad Al-Ansi. He claimed to be a prophet too. And one of the females was Sajah. We did her story. She claimed to be a prophetess, but she ended up converting to Islam. So a large number of these people appeared in the past. Even at the time of the followers of the companions, we had people like El-Mukhtar El-Thaqafi. He didn't claim to be a messenger. He claimed to be a prophet of Allah. And even just a century ago, we had a man named Ibn Ali, Ibn al-Mirza Abbas, who lived in Iran. He claimed to be a prophet. Okay, his followers, he was the one that created the Baha'i group of so-called Muslims. And even during our time, the 20th century, remember, it wasn't that long ago that Elijah Muhammad lived amongst us, and he claimed to be a prophet of Allah. Okay? So a lot of this has already occurred. These false antichrists. And again, a lot of people read this hadith and they think that the prophet was speaking about non-believers. No, he said, my nation, my nation. And again, guys, just recently, we talked about Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad was during the 60s and 70s. But even just recently, in 1985, we had a man named Mahmoud Muhammad Taha as-Sudani. He was the one that misled many people with his writings and articles. The Sudanese government executed him at the beginning of the year 1985. Okay, so we've had so many people claim to be prophets. in the past. And we have people today who call themselves messengers of Allah or Daya. They're not calling themselves prophets of Allah, but they're saying that they're conveying the truth. But they're just ruwaybida. They're calling you to something other than Islam. They're making fatwas and Islamic verdicts that go against what Allah says. They're now telling you, for example, that it's haram. That it's haram to eat the meat of the people of the book. Allah's laws never change. Allah says lawful for us is the food of the people of the book. And despite Allah's clear nas on that, we have these men and women today making it haram for you to eat the meat of the people of the book. So these liars are here. This has not only happened in the past, but it's happening today. The internet is filled with the false antichrist. They're filled with men and women claiming to be Muslims, claiming to be Daya, claiming to be messengers of the truth, but they are calling you to a watered down, twisted version of Islam. You brothers and sisters have to be careful. And not only did the prophet mention that as a sign, and it's happening, but also he warned about the different tribulations or the different calamities that will come. For example, we have to realize that the righteous Muslim is the Muslim who adheres firmly to the religion of Islam. And the righteous nation is the nation which accepts this religion and sticks to it. Both the Muslim individual and the Muslim nation will be tested. I tell you guys all the time, Allah says just because we say we believe in Allah is not enough. Many of you who are new shahadas, when y'all convert to Islam, I told you, you will be tested. You're going to have to spend the rest of your life proving that you believe in Allah. And Allah is going to test you with your families, your children, your husbands. Many of you sisters are being tested right now with your husbands because you've been coming to my classes. You've learned that Islam is based on two sources, not one. Islam is based on the Quran and it's also based on the authentic hadiths. But your husbands, many of you have husbands who don't believe in the hadiths. Well, that's your test. Are you going to stay with these men? Because if they don't believe in the hadiths, they basically don't believe Muhammad or Rasulullah. And if they don't believe Muhammad or Rasulullah, they're not Muslim. And if they're not Muslim, your marriage is null and void. Okay? So the Muslim will be tested and our nation will be tested. Allah also tells us that he will test our nation with war. The companions were tested with war from the beginning of their conversion until all of them had died. They were always at warfare. The Muslims around the world today are seeing war before their eyes in Gaza and Africa. This is your test. Some of the trials that we'll be tested with are stirred up within this nation by our desires. Many of the trials that we'll be faced with, the prophet said, will be because we divided and we disputed with each other. And again, some of the trials will be from the enemies, like what we see with Gaza and Africa. Now, the trials or calamities that stem from division and disputes may reach such an extent that we'll end up drawing swords against each other, the prophet said. And we'll end up killing each other. We'll end up violating the sanctity of life, honor, and property. And when he told the companions this, they couldn't believe it. They said, but we're a brotherhood. We love each other. You mean we would actually do this? Well, this is happening today. It happened during the time of the companions too, but it's happening today. Look how many of us call ourselves people of the Sunnah, call ourselves true practicing Muslims, but we're killing each other with our tongues. The Prophet said, whenever you refer to another Muslim as being a kafir, it's the same as if you've taken a sword and cut off his head. Because when anyone who declares la ilaha illallah, our blood, our honor, and our grit. But it's not today. It's not today. Listen to this hadith. Amir ibn Akhtab, he tells us, he said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam led us in the Fajr prayer. And then he climbed up on the mimbar and he addressed us until the time of Dhuhr. And then he came down and prayed. Then he went back on the mimbar and talked again until Asr. Then he came down and talked again until the sunset. And what he talked about all this during this time was the signs of the last hour. He told us of what was to come. And the most learned amongst us is the one who remembered them the best. And now let's go over some of those things that he talked about would come to pass with the companions. We have the hadith in Sahih Muslim that's narrated by Hudayfa. He said amongst the tribulations that the Prophet told us of, he said will be three, which will almost destroy everything. And then there will be some trials that will be like the summer breeze. Some of the trials, some of the tribulations will be minor, and some of them will be great. He also went on to tell us that the severity of the trials will be so great that many Muslims will abandon their religion. Subhanallah. A lot of the companions couldn't imagine that. But look what's happening today. We have a very high apostasy rate in Islam. I told you guys, they did the U.S. Census did a report on the different religions of the Americans and who the highest apostasy rate. The highest apostasy rate of the religions here in America are the Amish. The Amish people, they have the highest apostasy rate. The second highest apostasy rate of religions in America are Muslims. We have the second highest apostasy rate. And of those apostates, many are women. Why? Because women have been broken down. Women have faced many trials. Women have been told that because they're women, basically, Allah made a mistake. They can't be beautiful. They can't wear makeup. They can't wear beautiful clothes out the house. None of this stuff is true. But that's a hardship for a woman to face, to be told that she has to be ugly in her appearance when she leaves the home. She can only be beautiful if her husband is standing over her. That's oppression. My beauty is determined by a man standing over me. I can't be clean. I can't be beautiful unless I have a man. That's not Islam. That's not Islam. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, hurry and do good deeds before tribulations come like the patches of the dark night, where a man will be a believer in the morning and will become a kafir by the evening, or he will be a believer in the evening and a kafir by the morning. And one of you will sell your religion for the life of this world. That's all happening. Women were Muslim one moment, then apostate, because they just couldn't take it no more. When I leave the house, I have to walk around dressed in black. and I have to make sure I'm ugly. The uglier I am, the better. Who can survive that way? Okay? Selling your religion. Look how many of these famous celebrities are on the internet, and these are men who have broken these women. They tell these women crap like this, because they're selling their religion for the price of this world. It's all about fame. It's all about gain. When you ain't qualified, you don't know the lawful and the unlawful. You're too ignorant to know that you just sound like a hypocrite. Because if a woman cannot be attractive outside the house, why is it that Allah clearly says in the Quran, "Oh, you who believe, wear your beautiful clothing to every house of worship"? He didn't say, "Oh, you men." He said, "Oh, you who believe." That means men, women, and children. Wear your beautiful garments to the house of Allah. If a woman can wear her most beautiful garment to the mosque, and the mosque is the place where the men gather, what makes you think I can't wear my beautiful garments to the grocery store? My beautiful garments to work, my beautiful garments to school, my beautiful garment to take out the garbage. Hypocrisy. You're contradicting. But see, this is what happens. It's all about that fame. It's all about money. So we ain't qualified to teach Islam. We don't know the lawful and the unlawful. You didn't study under no reputable scholar. You're just an oppressor. So you tell the people what they want to hear, what your audience wants to hear. A lot of men suffer with insecurity. A lot of men want their wives to stay locked up in a house and be trifling and only become a sex symbol for them. So you appealing to the men of this nation at the expense of breaking down women. Y'all see that? Also, in another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, right before the last hour, there will be many trials where a man will be a believer in the morning and a kafir by night, or a believer in the night and a kafir by morning. And some people will sell their religion. The same thing by two different companions, Abu Huraira in the first, Anas ibn Malik in the second. All of this is happening. All of this is happening today. And these trials will be so heavy and so intense that many people will wish that they were dead. The Prophet ﷺ said the hour will not come until a man will walk past the grave of another and say, "I wish that I was dead. I wish that I could trade places with him." How many of you have heard Muslims say that? How many of you have heard Muslims say, just because of what's going on in Gaza, they can't handle watching the news with what's going on in Gaza? How many of you have heard Muslims say, "Oh, the children, oh, this is so bad that I wished I was dead. I can't handle it. I can't stand for this." Subhanallah. Also in another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that this world will not end until a man will pass by a grave and throw himself down on it and say, "I wish that I could trade places here." Not because of a debt that he owes, but because of the hardship. Look at how Muslims today can't handle divorce. How many people commit suicide? How many Muslim women have committed suicide because their husbands divorced them? Okay? And again, one of the main reasons why so many trials and calamities will happen is because of the lack of knowledge and the prevalence of ignorance that will exist, and the abandoning of Islam. And the Muslims will be committing so many sins and so many acts of disobedience, and they will violate so many sanctities. Listen to what Abu Musa Ash'ari said. He said, the prophet said, just before the hour comes, there will be days when ignorance will prevail, knowledge will disappear, and there will be much murder, much killing. We're living in those days today. Most Muslims, I proved it today. Most of you don't know how to respond. If a person were to ask you, if a people of the book came to you and said, oh, we share a lot of things in common, but can you tell me what's different? What is it that you believe as a Muslim that's different from me? We can't answer that question correctly. If a person came to you and even asked you, what are the pillars of the prayer? You can't answer that. If a person came to you as a Muslim woman and asked you, why do you women dress the way you do? We can't give them the correct answer. You listen to a woman like me. Why is that woman speaking so loudly? You can't give them the correct answer. So again, ignorance will prevail. Ignorance of the religion will prevail. The knowledge will disappear with the death of the people of knowledge. When the true scholars die, they'll take their knowledge with them. When the true callers to this religion die, they'll take their knowledge with them. And they'll leave behind students who are not qualified to teach, or followers who didn't quite grasp the message. And we already know how much murder is happening amongst this nation. Okay? Also, in another hadith, the prophet said, amongst the signs of the hour are that knowledge will be taken away, ignorance of the religion will be widespread. Fornication, adultery, alcohol, and wine will be widespread. There will be few men and many women, to the extent that for 50 women, there will be only one man to look after them. All of these signs are happening. Again, most Muslims don't know the basics. They don't know what la ilaha illallah means. Look how many Muslims are fornicating. Look how many Muslims, many of you guys are on date naps. How many of y'all are on the date nap? How many of y'all are on Mufti Mink's date nap? Oh yeah, Mufti Mink got a date nap too. Y'all didn't know that? Oh yeah, zina is everywhere. Look how many Muslims are taking drugs and drinking. In fact, we got some famous personality here in America. Graduated from the University of Medina. Put out a fatwa saying that it's lawful to smoke marijuana. This marijuana is okay. So this stuff is already happening. And we all know how there are more women in the world than there are men. Subhanallah, you go to the average mosque, the imam got over 50 women that he's the guardian over, because women don't have any husbands. So these are all signs that's already happening. And again, knowledge will decrease. Ignorance will prevail. I tell you guys, out of all these Muslims on the internet, 97% of them are ignorant. I keep telling you, none of them are scholars. They're all calling you to something other than the traditional Islam. Okay? And a lot of people ask the question, Sister Layla, why will there be so few men and more women? Well, because of the war. That's one of the reasons why. There'll be so many wars and so much killing. Also in many hadith, The prophets speak about the killing. And when he talks about the murder, he's not talking about the non-Muslims. He's talking about us, Muslims killing Muslims. That's why there's more women than men. It's hard for a woman to find a Muslim man to marry. The Kafir men are out there. The Kafir men are hitting on us like crazy. But where are the Muslim men? And also in many cases, the reasons or the purpose for us killing each other is not unknown. Listen to what Abu Musa Ash'ari said. He said, the prophet said, just before the hour, there will be lots of killing. He said, but it will not be that you will kill the unbelievers. Instead, you'll be killing each other to the point where a man will kill his neighbor. You will kill your brother. You'll kill your uncle. You'll kill your cousin. Just right before Ramadan, an imam here in America was killed. He wasn't killed by a kafir. He was killed by one of his relatives. They say his stepson. They're looking at his stepson killing him. Look how many mosques here in America, imams, were killed not by kafir, but by people in their community. You don't like the imam, so you come to the mosque and get into an argument. The Muslims start fighting with each other. Somebody pulls out a gun and we shoot each other. We're killing each other in the mosques. Look how many Muslims get into arguments at the grocery store, take out a gun, kill each other. And when the prophet said that we will kill each other, one of the companions said, what will cause us to do that? Maybe we'll be crazy. Will we be in our right mind? He said, yes. The reason why is because the people will be weak. The people will have no knowledge, no understanding of their deen, and the people will be feeble-minded. Most of them will think that they are following something which is true, when in reality, they're following nothing. Now, doesn't that sound like the fights we are having with each other in our masajids? You think that you Salafi. You think that you a Salafi. So now you're going to go to the mosque and challenge the imam. You're going to call him out. You're going to call him a Mutazilite. You're going to call him a kafir. You're going to get into a fight with him. You're going to get all emotionally riled up, and you're going to take out a gun and pop him. Feeble-minded, emotional, stupid. You don't even know what the word Salafi means. It's not a noun. It's an action. It's a verb. Salafi. You don't go around telling people you Salafi. If you Salafi, they should know it by the way you act, the way your life is, the choices you've made in life. So again, we see these hadiths are happening. The people are ignorant of their deen. The people are weak. They're feeble-minded. You think you upon the right path. You think you following somebody that's leading you to paradise, when in reality, you're following nothing. These hadiths are authentic. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. Also, in another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, by the one in whose hand is my soul, there will come a time when the killer will not even know why he did the killing, and his victim won't even know why he was killed. I wonder if that imam that was killed knows why. I wonder if those children and his family know why they killed him. They won't know. You want to know why they won't know? Because of their emotionalism. That's another hadith too we're going to get to. The Prophet said that we will be so emotional that we'll allow our anger to get the better of us, and we'll react and then sit around saying, why did I do this? Why did I let my anger get the better of me? Why did I shoot him? Because he didn't raise his hands in the prayer? Why did I kill him? Because I don't agree with what he was saying in the khutbah. So as you guys can see, the trials that we face today as a nation, the fitna, again, the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not only did he complete his mission, but he completed the mission of every prophet that came before him. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us what would happen from A to Z. But the problem is most Muslims today, we're at this point where we're the ignorant ones. We don't know the basics of Islam. We're too emotionally charged. We're so quick to call each other kafir. We don't believe in the qadr of Allah. We believe that the Zionists have the upper hand over us. So we're fighting with each other. We're attacking each other. We're destroying each other. All right. I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Any questions or comments? We have to take our knowledge of this religion from the proper sources. We have to learn Islam in its truthfulness and learn it with the understanding that those companions had, not the understanding of these people today. Because the Muslims today in general, we're the worst. The Prophet said every generation will become further and further and further away from you. So we are the furthest away. Don't take your knowledge and understanding from the people here. You take it from those companions. All right. Any questions or comments? Cause and effect. Exactly. One of the brothers is tight. Yes, exactly. Cause and effect. And remember, the Prophet Muhammad told us that if we live to see these calamities, what we should do is a lot of self-reflection. Fall back upon la ilaha illallah, the meaning of it, like I'm doing, trying to teach y'all here. The meaning of la ilaha illallah, which entails wala wa bara. Fall back on that. Check your allegiance. Is your allegiance truly to Allah? Is it truly to Islam? Is it to the Prophet? Is it to the Muslims? Or is it to Gaza? Is it to Egypt? Is it to Poland? Is it to America? Is it to the black man? Is it to the white man? Is it to the Arab? Check yourself. Reflect upon yourself, like the Prophet said, in times of hardship. And then make the change. Make your personal changes. All right. Any questions or comments? Go ahead.
Jazakallah, Layla. It just proves once again that the knowledge that we need right now is crucial. It's crucial that we get it. It's like oxygen. It's going to be like oxygen for us. There's so much that we need to know and don't know. And it's going to be so important for us to know and not forget. And not forget. Not forget what is in the Hadith. Not forget what our religion has taught us. And to look at the signs, to be aware of them. Not once in a while, but on a daily basis. It's going to be crucial. Yeah. We can see this. Yeah. We can see this in the behavior on the streets, on the news, on the radio. We see it every single day.
Exactly. It's all about the basics of Islam. We've deviated away. We focused on learning how to speak Arabic. Like I tell y'all, Arabic ain't going to get you into paradise. I don't care how much Arabic you learn. It ain't got nothing to do. Language is language. What's going to get you in paradise is your understanding and implementation of La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's what's going to get you in paradise. Okay? Language, don't get it twisted. There's no hadith that says the language of paradise is Arabic. There's nothing in Islam that says long as you Arab, you go on to paradise. That's all racism. That's tribalism. That's ignorance. Those statements are examples of the ignorance that the prophet is speaking about. That's why I don't care about Arabic. I am Arab, but I don't speak Arabic and don't care to learn it. I can read the Quran, but so what? My emphasis is on those hadiths. My emphasis is on my aqidah, my belief system. Language is nothing. Y'all got to understand, language comes from Allah. It ain't got nothing to do with you going to paradise. We've been emphasizing the wrong things. We've been putting emphasis on the wrong things. Shaitan speaks Arabic, but is he going to paradise? How did we hear? How did we learn about Ayat Kursi? We learned about Ayat Kursi from Iblis. So what? He still is damned to the hellfire. Abu Jahl, the Pharaoh of this nation. The Quran was revealed in his dialect. He spoke the Fusha. Abu Jahl, his language was the Fusha of the Quran. But he's still in the hellfire as we speak and will stay there forever. So we got to stop all this nonsense, guys. We got to get back to the basics. Like the prophet said, knowledge disappears, ignorance prevails. We're all into language. When you should have been on La ilaha illallah, what is the meaning of that shahada? Most Muslims today don't even know how to pray correctly. We don't even know how to perform the prayer. If I was to walk the streets and ask the Muslims, what are the pillars of the wudu? What are the pillars of the prayer? And what are the sunnahs of the wudu? What are the sunnahs of the prayer? They can't give me the right answer. They don't know, but they can sing. They can sing the Quran, but they don't understand what they're saying because they don't know those hadiths. Subhanallah. So we have to learn Islam and its truthfulness. And the truthfulness of Islam is La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's the truthfulness of Islam. Like the prophet said, all the good deeds you do don't matter if you don't understand La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. He said, don't be the bankrupt person who will stand before Allah with all these good deeds and they're taken away because he did not know and understand and live La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's the foundation of who we are. Most Muslims, I prove it to y'all every day in my classes. I don't get no right answers. Most of y'all struggle with that because we've been putting emphasis on the wrong stuff. Arabic. The prophet said this would happen. What did he say? We're going to get to that hadith. He told the companions, there will appear amongst you many people who will be able to recite the Quran beautifully, but it will never go past their throats. They said, what do you mean? He said, I mean that they will not understand what they're saying. And the companion said, why won't they understand it? He said, because they won't know what I said. They won't know what I did. In other words, they won't know the hadiths. He said, and don't ever, he said, if you live to see that day, do not be intimidated. That's why I could care less. A person can come in here, get on this mic, and sing like Mariah Carey, the Quran. You don't impress me. I'll look at you like, do you know now? Tell me what you said. What happened to make Allah bring it down? What's the history of that? What happened to make that verse come down? You look at me like, what? I don't even know what it means. The prophet said, should you live to see the day when they can recite the Quran by heart, do not be intimidated by them. Do not feel threatened by them, because until they learn those hadiths, they will never understand what's coming out their mouth. And nobody can intimidate me with no Quran, because I know the hadiths. I can tell you, give me a verse. I can tell you the history behind any of those verses. What happened to make Allah send it down? Okay? So we've been putting emphasis on the wrong stuff. We've deviated away from the explanation of the Quran. The hadiths are the explanation of it. And we even have a group of people who dare to call themselves Muslims. And they'll tell you they don't even believe in the hadiths. That's how twisted a nation we are. Without the basics, there's nothing. Without the basics, you have nothing, people. You're just a bankrupt person. A lot of us will be bankrupt on the day of judgment. We're going to get to that hadith too. The prophet said most of my nation will be bankrupt. They'll come there and stand with nothing because they didn't believe La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? All right. Let me remind everybody that's listening to me. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. I have a special. We have a new brother who has joined us here in our dawah. He's very well known. He's a pretty famous brother. His name is Dr. McBride. Dr. McBride, you may have seen some of his, he's been on different programs and stuff. He's written a very popular book, a book entitled the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, which one is correct? Okay, he's a very well-known speaker here in America, in the West. Well, he has joined us here at Sunnahfollowers, and tomorrow he will be doing a lecture at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he will be discussing, have we blurred the lines? He's going to be speaking about Muslims here in America who are living the principle. Oh, yeah. See how blurred we are? We got Muslims in America practicing polygamy. But instead of them practicing polygamy in accordance to the Quran and Sunnah, they're practicing polygamy in accordance to the principle of the Mormons. And we're going to go into detail talking about that tomorrow. So this should be a very good class tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I did put some shorts out. Please share my shorts. I got them on Facebook. I got them on YouTube. Please share them with other Muslims, especially those that are doing polygamy. Because ain't no sister wife in Islam. Ain't no having all your women live in the same house in Islam. It ain't no head honcho wife. It ain't no the children belong to all of us. Oh, yeah, we're going to go over all of that tomorrow, inshallah. That's at 6 o'clock. No, that's not a hadith, Sister Miss Jackson. That is not a hadith. If you don't have a teacher, then that means you're just ignorant. But that's a statement that some of the early scholars used to say. The early scholars of Islam, not the companions, the early scholars used to say that anyone who teaches himself, that's what they used to say. Anybody that teaches yourself the religion, Shaitan becomes your teacher, because you can't teach yourself Islam. You have to learn from the people of knowledge. The Prophet Muhammad did not teach himself. His teacher was the angel Jibreel. I did not teach myself. My teacher is Sheikh Abu Atayib. You know, every Muslim should learn this religion from the people of knowledge. The Prophet said, sit with the people of knowledge and learn from them. Okay, so that's the hadith. We can't teach ourselves. And that's another one of the signs of the last hour. Okay, we'll be teaching ourselves. And that's what they're doing. That's why Islam is so messed up today. Islam becomes strange because instead of us learning from the people of knowledge, we're teaching ourselves. We're going to pick up a book, read it, and interpret it our own way. Everybody understand that? You should have a teacher. I should be able to ask everybody, who's your teacher? And everybody should have a teacher. You shouldn't say, I teach myself or I follow somebody. No, and I'm talking about a teacher, not a speaker. There's a difference between a teacher and a speaker. A speaker is a person that sits up and gives a speech and leaves out. That person has no personal relationship with you. That person don't know you from Tom, Dick, or Harry. A teacher is different. A teacher is somebody that you sit with who gets to know you on a personal level. They know your strengths. They know your weaknesses, and they quiz you on the knowledge that they share with you. The way I'm doing. I am a teacher. Okay? I know Pamela. I know Pamela's strengths. I know Pamela's weaknesses. I know Jamila's strengths. I know her weaknesses. I know Fatima's strengths. I know Fatima's weaknesses. Okay? I'm going to ask y'all questions, and I know who can answer right and who can't. And I'm going to push you to be the best that you can be. That's a teacher. They get to know you on a personal level. I may not have met Pamela in real life, but I know where Pamela is in her understanding and practice of this deen. And I know what I need to work on with her. Y'all understand? That's a teacher. A teacher has an intimate, personal relationship with you. These speakers y'all listen to, they don't know you from Tom, Dick, or Harry. If a person saw me at the coffee shop and said, Layla, you remember when Sakina came on there? Oh, yeah, I know Sakina. Oh, yeah, she's one of my students. Okay. Even if they came and say, Sister Layla, you know Brother Sadiq, the one that's always making trouble. Oh, yeah, he comes in on my streams. I know Brother Sadiq. Yeah, he always talking about this, that, and the other. Yeah. So, you know, a teacher knows you on a personal level. But you go to these famous speakers, they don't, you know who Pamela is? Pamela who? She watches your streams. Oh, I don't know her. She's just a person that watch my streams. Y'all understand? Yeah. Yeah. You got to have a teacher. All of us got teachers. The Prophet Muhammad. Okay, one of the brothers here. Yeah, the Prophet Muhammad was the teacher of the companions. Yeah, who was Ibn Abbas's and them teachers? The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Exactly. Yeah, Brother Ahmad, I was trying to contact you. How's your health, first of all? Yeah, Sister Miss Jackson, just keep joining here. You've already been here a few times. Yeah, just keep coming like you doing. You've been coming. Try to be more consistent, though, Miss Jackson. Just be a little bit more consistent. Yeah. Okay, Brother Ahmad, what I would like to do with you, good job. I figured you would be. But what I would like to do with you sometime soon is, take some one-on-one time with you to get you in here to teach you how to stream, because it ain't nothing but just joining. We stream online. But I was thinking, what if I got something to do? Like, say, for example, if I got somewhere to go, if I get sick, if I get in the hospital or something, I need somebody to stream. And I would rather teach you, number one, because I trust you with my life. And this website is my life. And number two, because you a dude, meaning you ain't got no cheering. And you ain't got no husband that's going to put his foot in your throat and tell you spending too much time with Sister Layla. Boss daddy. So I would like, and I mean, it's nothing to do. All you got to do is join and just start streaming. You're smart. That's another reason. You know how to work this type of, it's nothing to work. If you come into the stream, you'll see how to do it. So what do you think? Because I'm going to need a backup person in case I got something to do. I thought about, what if I die? What if I got to go somewhere? Layla's got a life. I mean, I don't have one, but I need to get one. I need to get a life. Stella needs to get her groove on. Hello, let's just keep it real, women. Stella needs a groove. Stella can't get no groove because she on here. So would you learn how to stream so you can be my backup, brother? I am Mod. When you going to start? And you got a good internet. All you got to have is a good internet, because there's nothing to download. I stream online, so there's nothing to download. Just got to have a good internet. Your internet is good, right? Because I'm looking at the way that you do the videos. Your internet is good, right? Yeah. Okay, well, tomorrow we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, and you can take over, not take over, but I'm show you how to stream. Yeah, I ain't got no life. My whole life, I got anxiety, because all I do is sit up on this internet all day teaching the same thing over and over and over and over. I teach the same thing over and over. I've been teaching this stuff since 1986. I need a life. I can't go to the grocery store. I can forget about going out to dinner. I would like to go to Red Lobster and get me some the Crab Fest. Don't they have the Lobster Fest going on? I can't even go get a lobster.
They did bankruptcy.
They got them open here where I am. I just ordered a couple of weeks ago. Not all of the Red Lobster closed, just certain parts of the country. Ohio's is still open. I love lobster tail. I can't even go out and get nothing to eat. I can't go to the mountains either, Pamela, because of this streaming. I can't do nothing, man. I'm stressed. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that COVID messed up a lot of them. Yeah. Oh.
You okay, Sister Layla? I see you jittering.
That's my anxiety.
Fidgeting.
Yeah, you see that? That's all my anxiety. I keep telling y'all I'm stressed out. And I didn't.
It's okay.
Look at my big forehead.
Okay.
Girl, I got a big forehead. Check out Layla's forehead. Woo. I'll put that down. Yeah, I'm stressed out. That's why I need Brother Ahmad to come in here and stream. I need to do something for me. I'm a woman. You know, that's where you got to know where to draw the line. You know, a woman can never be in a position of power, of authority like that because we weren't made for that. And I'm telling you, doing the dawah, this is proof for me. Look how stressed out I am. Look at me. I'm just as stressed. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Brother Emma's going to do that. Good. Okay, good, y'all. So Fame, write that down. Tomorrow, Brother Emma. He wrote Fame, Awa.
Yeah, I'm in here. Okay.
Okay, tomorrow, all I got to do is give him the link because it's all online. He can figure this out. It ain't hard to do. Hello. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to log out for right now. Inshallah. Don't forget tomorrow. Let me show y'all the thing for tomorrow. This is tomorrow with Dr. McBride. Let me show it to y'all. Hold on. There it is. Where is that? Is it right here? Right. Have the lines become blurred? Is it okay to mix the principles of Islam with those of the Mormons? Join Sunnah Followers May 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as Dr. Daniel McBride addresses Muslims living the principle. Hold close to him and follow what he said. Yeah, I threw that together at 2 o'clock in the morning. I did that at 2 in the morning. Yeah, but that's tomorrow. Y'all see, it's going to be interesting. That should be pretty interesting. These Muslims, you know me, I call them Muslims. The Muslims live in the principle. You practicing the principle. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. You and your principles. And I heard there's a lot of Muslims out there in Utah. Oh, yeah. They say a lot of Muslims made hijrah. A lot of Muslims made hijrah to Utah so they could live the principle. To live the principle. Not to live Islam. Not to live the principle of wala wal better. But to live the principle of Mormonism. That should be interesting tomorrow. All right, guys, I'm going to log out for right now. Inshallah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm in the Zoom room. I got to work on this stuff for tomorrow with the principal. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.